the pride of life, the lust of flesh, the lust of eyes. Though, at the end of the day, you probably could classify this as the worst couples therapy session ever. Oh! The summon was directed by Mark Meir, or is possibly pronounced Myers, M-E-I-R. Pick one and move on. This is a directorial debut. This stars J. Quentin Johnson as Elijah, a hard-working young man that owns his grandfather's mechanic shop, and he has a beautiful, hopefully soon-to-be wife, Lynn, or Joplin. She's a singer, Janis Joplin. Do you get it? Do you get it? Should we hammer it in your skull a little bit more? I kid, I kid. If that wasn't the intention, I do apologize. She's played by Emma Fitzpatrick. She's had a number of roles, including a role in Time. Remember In Time? You shouldn't. It was rubbish. But anyway, there's Tara, a social media influencer and actress who showed her tits off in one movie, and that's talked about. She's played by Angela Gollner. And there's also a rich guy named Joe. It turns out knew Lynn in a previous life, or in a previous, part of their life, because everybody seems to know each other, and only Elijah, the lone black man in this, is left kind of out in the cold, wondering what the fuck is going on. So Joe is played by Salvador Chacon, and then there's Frederick Stewart, who plays the eccentric Dr. Frost. Has summoned these four people here in a couple's retreat, so to speak, where they're going to work on themselves, and they're going to figure out what makes them tick, what their kinks are, figure out new kinks. And, of course, since there's only 7 fucking people in the goddamn cast, when you have a cast this small, you need to focus on one location. And obviously, there's a sinister undertone going on here, but what the fuck could it possibly be? And eventually, it all comes to pass, and that's pretty much the plot right there. They try to have a few layers to this, but it's really not shocking if you've been outside for 5 fucking minutes what the twists are. I'll get into the twists a little bit later in the spoiler section. But the best way I can describe this movie is basically a few movies, like it has elements of Get Out, it has elements of other movies, it has elements of a movie that is featured featured in this video. You probably can figure out which one. Just look around, you probably can figure out. But yeah, basically it doesn't take long for things to go tits up. It gets a little violent, it gets a little vicious. And it was also written by Yuri Baranovsky. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He's had a few credits to his name. And okay, you have Mark Meyer, whatever, having a supporting role in the movie as somebody that provides a whole bunch of exposition at one point. And look, I don't mind small cast horror movies. Sometimes those can work out really well. This isn't even close to the worst thing I've seen this year. This is not going to get an F grade. I'm just going to say that right now. But unfortunately, this movie would have worked better as a short form concept, which I've said ad nauseum in a lot of reviews. It's gotten to the point where almost I'm sick of saying it. But when movies are like that and they keep showing the same cracks in the foundation when they are full-length features, I have to keep pointing it out. This isn't bad. This just isn't great. Now, it is about $6 on Amazon. There are certainly worse things you could spend your money on, but it's just so obvious where it's going. And the movie tries to be creative with the fact that, well, it has a small cast and even smaller budget. And hey, you got to have some ingenuity. The camera work is actually pretty goddamn well done here. And the acting isn't bad, but again, it's just kind of there overall. And by the time it reaches the end, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I assume that much. What else you got? Oh, that's all you got? Okay, that's just what we're going to keep doing. We're going to just kind of stretch out these fucking scenes here because we don't have a whole lot. Again, not the worst thing I've seen, but like there are a few nightmare sequences that do add up. I mean, the movie does have a point and goes on a linear path, even though it tries to throw you a few curveballs. It's obvious where it's going. It's not horrible for the first half, but then, I don't know, it just kind of limps along. It just has it builds a little suspense and then like just launches and then you're like, oh, okay, wow. So that's exactly where I thought it was going to go. At the end of the day, the twists are obvious. The violence is there. I mean, it seemed like the cast had fun doing it. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. I am going to get into spoilers right now, just so you know, but check out spoiler section 3, 2, 1, spoilers! Okay, spoilers. Okay, so basically, it turns out that there was this book that Joe wrote that references a deal with the devil. This guy, Wagner, that made a deal with the devil or whatever, and his boots would fill with gold every week, but then he cut off the soul so the boots couldn't fill with gold, and the devil couldn't take his soul because the deal wouldn't be fulfilled. He would have the gold still, but since they wouldn't fill with gold, He could still have it. He basically just found a way to escape the devil, being smarter than the devil, crueler, meaner. Also, the guy playing Dr. Frost looked like Geraldo Rivera, and I couldn't unsee it. I don't know if that was the intention. The actress playing Tara, I will say, quite attractive. Very hard to resist, I would say, especially with the way she was acting. And Emma Fitzpatrick, everybody does fine in this. Mark Mear's not too bad of an actor. He directs this competently. But basically what it is it's Get Out and it's Ready or Not. That's what it basically is. It's a cheaper Ready or Not with a smaller cast. And the idea is Elijah was brought here because they are trying to find a way to break this curse. Because Lynn, Tara, and Joe, and Frost are all tied because of this pact. Because their various relatives in the past made deals with the devil. Or in the case of Joe, he gave up his soul automatically just for riches. And now they have to kill people as a way to keep this thing going. Well, Mark Meer plays the guy, Abe, that basically escaped because Lynn helped him. Lynn helped him escape because she's starting to feel guilt because of all this happening. And then Elijah, it turns out, feels all duped and everything. He also committed all these sins because he is a talented singer and wanted his songs to be on his girlfriend's album. And she was kind of whatever about that. But he doesn't believe in tapping into his own skills. Well, so he ends up fucking Tara at one point. Again, hard to resist. And also, you know, the lust of eyes and everything. Oh, you deal with, you know, feast with your eyes. You feast on the flesh. You do all this stuff. And he committed all these sins within 2 days. And now he's going to be sacrificed. But aha, if he ends up killing himself like Abe told him, then he's totally in the clear. Well, basically what ends up happening is Lynn kind of has a change of heart, but then that turns out to all be a ruse as a way to get Elijah to sign this contract so they can all be free. And he says, bullshit, everybody dies basically, and then he ends up burying them. That actually happened at the beginning of the movie. We see an opening with grave digging, because that always turns out great when you have Grave Digger this Sunday at the Tacoma Dome. Sunday. So anyway, yeah, he's burying people, and then he takes off. And so Frost is dead because he had kept failing this deal with the devil. And Elijah escapes, despite the fact that his, like 8 times removed, his great whatever grandfather did this deal. And now Lynn is there as the couples therapy sessionist, whatever. And she's doing this stuff. We're going to get a sequel to Summon 2, Electric Lynn Boogaloo. Electric, boy, we really missed that opportunity and messed that one up. Look, the movie isn't, again, horrible. D. It gets a D. It ends up being boring. It's not the worst I've seen. It doesn't make the most of its idea. It just kind of limps along. D. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.